Hello, Roahm Mythril here once again, and it's time to begin the next project. The Pokémon series of video games, that's always held a special place in my heart. It kind of taps into my enjoyment of collecting things, the whole draconic hoarding instinct sort of thing. And I always enjoy seeing the new breeds and everything. Definitely looking forward to the release of X and Y this October, and so as a lead up to that, I figured it's a good time as any to do a Pokémon LP. And so we'll be playing through Pokémon Emerald. Pokémon Emerald is the third in the main series games of the third generation, right behind Ruby and Sapphire. There was also Fire Red and Leaf Green, but those were more remakes of the original Red and Blue. And so, here we go. Time to play Pokémon Emerald version. Can I set text options right from here? Yes, I can. So let's go ahead and do that, and, A lot of options there. Yeah, let's go with that. Why cancel sets the options instead of getting rid of them? Who knows? So, let's begin. And how's it going? Sorry to keep you waiting. Welcome to the world of Pokémon. My name is Birch, but everyone calls me the Pokémon Professor. Apparently, in the Pokémon world, if you're named after a tree, you're doomed to become a professor. This is what we call a Pokémon. Actually, that's what we call a Lotad, specifically. This world is widely inhabited by creatures known as Pokémon. We humans live alongside Pokémon, at times as friendly playmates, and at times as cooperative workmates, and sometimes we band together and battle others like us. But despite our closeness, we don't know everything about Pokémon. Obviously not, because we've discovered an entire new land. In fact, there are many secrets surrounding Pokémon. To unravel Pokémon mysteries, I've been undertaking research. That's what I do. And you are. Yes, despite all your research, you don't know our gender. It's obviously so hard to tell. The third-gen male trainer, I did not realize that wasn't actually his hair, but a weird hat. The manga apparently made that fairly clear. And it was kind of weird learning that. I always go with all caps, since back in 3rd gen, they capitalized anything important, major people's names, major town names. They changed that in 4th gen, but by the time it got to that point, I didn't really see a need to change it. So before we fully get started here, it's time to discuss the special rules of this project. This is a No Evolutions run of Pokémon Emerald. It's also being done to help out with my collection a bit, so there are some special rules I'll be following. Rule 1. The Pokémon must be capable of evolving. This narrows the field down a bit. No single-stage Pokémon, and certainly no legendaries. Rule 2. The Pokémon must be at its most basic state. There are areas later in the game where you can actually catch some evolved Pokémon, but we'll be having none of that. Unevolved Pokémon only. And finally, Rule 3. The Pokémon must be something I haven't trained yet. This one's more just in place to help out with my own collection. I've already trained everything from the first 2 generations, and even a few from 3rd, so I'll only be working with Pokémon I have not yet trained. These rules may seem limiting, but I still have a good number to work with. There are 30 Pokémon I'll be able to catch and train for this run, 1 full box, so that should be plenty to have along for the trip. So with those explanations out of the way, time for the most uncomfortable way to move to a new town. I just imagine as the truck comes to a stop, one of the boxes of junk just falling off and pegging you right in the head. And our mom. It must be tiring riding with our things in the moving truck. You think? Why couldn't I ride in the cab? Is that a common practice, like, anywhere? Kinda thought that was illegal, actually. So here's our new hometown of Little Roots. And we get our own room. This was a bit of a cosmetic change, actually, in Emerald. In Ruby and Sapphire, it was a pair of Machoke helping you with the moving, but now it's Vigoroth. Well, of course. Fugi to you, too. And how about you? Well, okay, then. So important things to go ahead and check out in here. Looking in your item storage, you get a free potion. Handy to have. 4th gen and on, they removed item storage from the PC. Instead, they just basically gave you a hyperspace backpack, and you know what? I'm happy with that. You also need to set the clock. Let's see, I'm beginning this LP at 4:02 PM because I stay up late, and thus I wake up late. In all fairness, I have been up for a while now. I usually get up around, like, 2:30. Considering I'm usually up until 6 AM. And we even have a GameCube. Oh, God. Yeah, that faulty bit of hardware. I don't think mine actually works anymore. The link cable, that is. My Game Boy Advance works fine. It's Petalburg Gym. Maybe Dad will be on. Yes, our dad's a gym leader. But we're too late to see him in action. And so we need to go visit Professor Birch. Onward to meet the neighbors! Right over here. How convenient. Hello, and you are? Just your glance tells me everything I need to know. I love a good silent protagonist. Now, in Ruby and Sapphire, you'd find May at her computer. In Emerald, you actually have to go through her stuff. Who are you? Your glance tells me everything. So, May wants to be friends with Pokémon all over the world. And us! I'm not a Pokémon! But she's supposed to go help her dad. And so, onto the computer with her. Of course. So that we've taken care of everything we really need to take care of in town. Hi. There's scary Pokémon outside. I can hear their cries. I want to go see what's going on, but I don't have any Pokémon. Can you go see what's happening for me? And what's happening? Scary Zigzagoon! Oh no! So, of these particular starters, my favorite was Trico. I usually gravitate toward the most reptilian of the starters. 4th and 6th gen seem to be exceptions to that rule. 4th I loved Piplup, and 6th gen, come on, how can you resist the sheer fluffiness of Fennekin? So yeah, I have been severely trolled before by the Pokemon that appears to attack Professor Birch ending up being a shiny. That was disappointing, because you can't possibly have Pokeballs at this point. Oh, stop lowering my attack. And so, we win, and we save Professor Birch. I was in the tall grass studying wild Pokemon when I was jumped. Don't you know to always have a Pokemon with you? Professor Oak would be very disappointed. So, Roahm, I've heard so much about you from your father. That's actually the first time I ever saw that particular word. Who says video games don't teach you anything? And so, we get the Trico. Lovely. Sadly, I've already trained a Trico. I've already trained all 3 of the starters from this generation. it'll make sense later. So with that, we need to go and face off against May. I basically just want to try and get through this quote-unquote intro part as quickly as I can. Want to get to the good stuff. Things also thankfully speed up a good bit after we finish up this much of it. May as well see if I can get another level before I go face off against May. Every little bit helps. So, while we're on our little journey here, I think my strongest memory of the 3rd Gen Pokemon games was that the first one I played, Sapphire, I actually got it as a get-well gift from my mum. I had to go to the hospital for a short stay. Nothing too major, but it definitely helps knowing I'd have that to look forward to when I got out. Also, apparently, while I was in the hospital and drugged up to reduce pain, apparently while high on painkillers, I start quoting the Pokédex. And time to get a quick freebie. We sell a variety of goods including Pokeballs, except not right now because you don't have a Pokédex. But here, have a free potion. Wait, please don't come in here. I just discovered the footprints of a rare Pokémon. Wait until I finish sketching them, okay? Whatever. We need to go this way anyway. Hi there, Wingull. You're at least a fairly low-level one. The trouble with Wingull is they're usually fairly quick, so it can be hard to run from them, but if it's this low level anyway, I may as well just go ahead and get that last little bump of experience to get to level 6. Yay, we have Absorb. Not that it'll really help against May, because, as always, like every rival, she happens to have the starter that's strong against yours. It doesn't matter too much right now because it won't have a fire attack. But anyway, let's go. Hi there, Torchic. So let's see if we can start by lowering your defenses. Going right for the scratch, right off the bat. I have a couple of potions, so that much should help at least. Yeah. And you see, that's the kind of reason I don't want to do a Nuzlocke run. Things like that. That would have very nearly ended it right there. The RNG does not like a Nuzlocke run, and I don't know. Really, overall, the rules of a Nuzlocke run, I can see where people might enjoy it as a challenge. I just don't happen to be one of those particular people. It removes too much about the games that I like. The ability to just sit and look for new Pokemon and boost your collection, things like that. That's what I really love about the game, so having that taken away from me just doesn't feel fun, and as we just showed, there's way too much opportunity for complete and total RNG screw. And that wouldn't be good for anybody. Alright. So, back to the lab. I heard you beat May on your first try. Yeah, barely. What really amuses me, though, is I think even if you do lose to May and have to go do a rematch, he still credits you as beating her the first time. And so, we get a Pokédex. Alright. May also helps out a bit here. She tends to be a friendlier rival than most, because she gives us some Pokeballs to start off. So with that, time to get one more important bit of kit. We get running shoes. Yes, we can go faster, and that's wonderful. Thankfully you get them pretty early on in the 3rd gen games. Except Leaf Green and Fire Red. I think you actually had to get all the way past the first gym leader, Brock, before you'd get them. But now, we're faster. Who's that Pokémon? It's Sir Not appearing in this film!